British Open 2025 at Royal Portrush, Scottie Scheffler's triumph and Rory McIlroy's unforgettable week. ####The 2025 Open Championship, a story of triumph and connection at Royal Portrush. In a captivating week at the 2025 Open Championship, while Scottie Scheffler claimed the title, it was Rory McIlroy's emotional journey that truly resonated with fans. Portrush, Northern Ireland, the air was charged with excitement as a father's plea pierced through the crowd's chatter at the fourth hole, as he urged onlookers to let his young son catch a glimpse of his idol. For the past 4 days, similar requests had often been met with indifference and shifting bodies, all vying for their own sightlines. Yet, something about this father's voice, filled with desperation and heartfelt hope, cut through the barriers. Sensing the urgency, a volunteer stepped in to help, guiding the boy, no more than 10 years old, to a spot just inside the ropes while Rory McIlroy prepared to take his shot. The child stood in awe, momentarily enchanted by the scene until reality dawned on him as McIlroy moved on, now a good 50 yards down the fairway. Panic washed over the boy's face. Had he lost his chance to connect? Gathering his courage, he shouted, "Love you, Rory." The crowd erupted in response. "We all love you, Rory," someone boomed, igniting a wave of cheers and chants that rolled across the course like a powerful storm, echoing his name in waves of jubilance. This collective exuberance came just moments after McIlroy's errant approach shot had effectively snuffed out any flickering hope he had left for a successful Sunday performance. Today, he was in dire need of something extraordinary to breathe new life into his dreams of winning the British Open at Royal Portrush. Unfortunately, such magic did not appear, and his quest for the coveted Claret Jug came to a conclusion. Yet, perhaps the chase itself was never really the most significant part of the experience. Reflecting on his emotional journey, McIlroy stated, "I did my utmost to stay composed today, especially as I walked up the final hole amidst that overwhelming reception. It's been a remarkable week for me. I've gained everything I wished for except for that Claret Jug, and that's simply because one player performed just a bit better than the rest of us." This year's Open Championship firmly belonged to Scottie Scheffler. His dominance across 4 rounds was undeniable, his performance far too comprehensive to infer anything else. Scheffler's commanding play raised substantial questions about whether we are witnessing a remarkable generational talent or the emergence of an all-time great. Interestingly, despite winning decisively, Scheffler appeared almost overshadowed by McIlroy, who finished a staggering 7 shots behind him. This idea may sound perplexing at first, yet when we look back at the week at Royal Portrush, it begins to make sense. McIlroy has long been cherished as golf's favorite persona, and that admiration reached new heights during the Open Championship. What transpired here was not just fan support, it was devotion. Spectators lined the courses in droves, clamoring to get as close as possible to McIlroy, their enthusiasm overwhelming. Some fans scrambled over dunes and through the tall grass, desperate to catch a fleeting glimpse of the golf star, while others crowded in hospitality suites, pressing their faces against glass windows in a childlike display of excitement. Parents hoisted their children onto shoulders for just a brief moment of visibility. Spectators filled the bleachers at least an hour before his arrival, only to disperse as soon as he moved away. As the atmosphere became increasingly surreal, a teenager with a bleached buzz cut, sporting the Open inscribed on the back of his head, ducked under the ropes at the second hole, vainly attempting to capture a selfie before being ushered away by marshals. At one point during the championship, cameras caught sight of a man braving the chilly Irish Sea, waving one hand with a flagstick adorned with an open flag, while the other hand brandished a vibrant "Go Rory" sign. The ambience was distinctively different from the usual sounds one might anticipate at golf tournaments. While events typically draw polite applause for well-executed shots and murmurs of disappointment for missed opportunities, the atmosphere at Royal Portrush bore resemblance to an exhilarating concert or a lively football match, unceasing chants, melodic praises for McIlroy, and a festive vibe that seemed to overshadow the mere competition unfolding before them. This 4-day event felt like a spirited celebration, embellished by spontaneous displays of athletic drama. Saturday emerged as the peak day of this outdoor extravaganza. 7 shots behind and in desperate need of a miracle, McIlroy delivered precisely that, birdies on 3 of the first 4 holes, an explosive start reminiscent of his explosive career. The resultant cheers and roars from the crowd were thunderous, primal, and organic, an outpouring of emotion that no one could have ever orchestrated. The defining moment of the day occurred when McIlroy's eagle putt traveled an agonizing 56 feet across the green before sinking into the hole, resulting in an uproar so powerful it shook the very ground beneath spectators' feet, a euphoric roar that felt like it suspended time itself. After karting a round of 66, McIlroy declared Saturday the loudest day he could remember, describing that eagle and its applause as one of the most memorable experiences of his career. Impressive words indeed coming from someone who had donned a green jacket a mere few months prior. Reflecting on his Masters victory paints an interesting backdrop to these recent events. Following his long-awaited triumph at Augusta National, many thought McIlroy would finally free himself from the chains of chasing a Grand Slam, allowing him to exist as a player under no pressure from the expectations that once weighed heavily on his shoulders. Yet, surprisingly, McIlroy admitted that his intense pursuit of the Grand Slam had consumed him to the point where achieving it left him feeling somewhat lost and directionless. This realization resonates with many elite athletes, especially Olympians who dedicate their lives to a singular goal that only materializes every 4 years. Upon reaching the pinnacle of their profession, they often find themselves without a clear pathway forward. Additionally, McIlroy's frustrations with his standing in the game, paired with the relentless scrutiny that shadows him, have begun to take a toll. He has lived under this public microscope for the majority of his adult life, bearing a pressure that most of us cannot begin to imagine. Despite experiencing setbacks and challenges throughout his journey, McIlroy has consistently displayed elegance and grace. When faced with unfair criticism, particularly highlighted during his time at Quail Hollow and Oakmont, his reactions, though charged, seem relatable and even admirable. And so we arrive at this week. Despite a turbulent few months filled with ups and downs, McIlroy remains one of golf's most cherished personalities. Although many fans are drawn to winners, Rory has cultivated a support base that transcends mere performance. His following exists because of his genuine character. He is unafraid to showcase his vulnerabilities in a sport where many athletes maintain a polished facade. Any mistakes or imperfections he has exhibited recently were not viewed as failures of character, rather, they were perceived as signs of burnout and the inevitable toll of being authentic in the glaring spotlight. This week's atmosphere felt distinctly different. It was not like the 2019 Open at Portrush, where the weight of his country's expectations felt like a crushing burden, leading to a heartbreaking failure to make the cut. It wasn't as cathartic as Augusta's victory, where everyone united in the joy of seeing him conquer the fears that once threatened to consume him. It did not carry the anxious undertones present during his experience at Pinehurst when he was visibly crumbling under pressure before racing away, overcome by his emotions. It also lacked the haunting quality of St. Andrews, where he contended with shadows from his past and a cruel fate. Instead, the crowd this time held no demands, they were there simply to express their support, to celebrate him, to show appreciation and remind him of their unwavering loyalty, regardless of his victories or trials. There's a unique comfort found in the concept of home. It doesn't impose demands or expectations. It doesn't require you to achieve perfection. Rather, it stands as a steadfast presence in your life, especially in times of need. McIlroy recognized this shift in perception. He admitted that he regretted his internal focus during the 2019 Open, becoming too consumed by his own thoughts to truly take in the surroundings. This time, he made a conscious effort to embrace the affection from the crowd, an act that doesn't come easily to him. He engaged with the crowd, acknowledging almost every shout aimed his way with nods and waves, keen to reciprocate the love they were extending to him. In doing so, he aimed to give back a piece of what had been so generously offered. "I am incredibly grateful and feel so fortunate to perform in front of this amazing crowd," McIlroy stated. "Coming back here has been phenomenal. It's meant so much to at least feel like I had a fighting chance today." Earlier in the week, Scheffler fueled discussions with a heartfelt message about life's true fulfillment. hinting at the significant role of faith in his perspective. Regardless of one's belief systems or religious leanings, there are essential insights from Scheffler's point of view. You can achieve incredible success in your sport without allowing it to completely define you. You can excel while keeping a healthy balance in your life beyond athletic accomplishments. That wisdom rings clear, yet there's another lesson to be found. In this life, moments will emerge, like the one showcased this week, where athletes elevate their performance beyond mere statistics, creating a profound bond between the player and the audience. This shared experience is indescribable, and it cannot simply be captured on a leaderboard or reduced to objective analysis. As we mature and gain perspective, we learn that sports surpass mere scores. They encompass the moments that break through our mundane lives, experiences so impactful that they validate all the heartache, struggles, and obsessions we endure as competitors, fans, and devotees of this beautiful yet infuriating game. These are the moments that remind us why we fell in love with sports in the first place. Yet, what truly elevates a moment into something exceptional is its duality. It possesses both permanence and transience. McIlroy understands the nature of time. If luck smiles upon him, he may have one more chance to create a memorable moment at Portrush while his skills are still sharp. But, this could also be his last. The crowd felt this too, which explains the uproar of emotion that erupted as he approached the 18th green, a striking visual of a gladiator entering an arena, unified with thousands energized by shared anticipation. When he sank his last putt, he removed his cap and raised his hand to the sky, silently expressing gratitude to a crowd that endeavored to drown out his unspoken appreciation. Reflecting on the moment, McIlroy said, "There's a profound sense of gratitude and a tremendous pride in representing these shores. The way I've played and stood up for my home country, to receive that reception as I walked up the 18th was absolutely incredible. I will cherish this for a long, long time." Those who were present at Royal Portrush will treasure those memories as well. Some scenes, some cheers, some emotions become etched in our minds permanently, moments that no one would ever wish to forget. Is it referred to as the British Open or the Open Championship? This question continues to fuel debate among golf enthusiasts. Officially, as outlined by former R&A chairman Ian Pattinson, the event is known as the Open Championship. However, given that many American fans still use the term British Open, and like to search for news under that name, Golf Digest has chosen to incorporate both terms in its reporting. Can Rory McIlroy challenge Scottie Scheffler? The Open 2025 Showdown explained. When it comes to the world of golf, one thing is clear: Rory McIlroy has set his sights on a formidable challenger, Scottie Scheffler, the newly crowned Open champion. If McIlroy is on the hunt for a personal Everest, Scheffler may just be the next towering peak. Despite a remarkable season for the golfer from Northern Ireland, which included achieving the prestigious career Grand Slam with a victory at the Masters, winning a second Players' Championship, and nabbing the title at Pebble Beach, McIlroy finds himself trailing behind Scheffler in a significant way. Currently, McIlroy holds the position of the second-best player in the world. However, the standings paint a telling picture. Following Scheffler's impressive triumph at Royal Portrush, his scoring average has soared to 20.52 points. In contrast, McIlroy, who finished 7th at the Open, trails by 8.96 points. To put that into perspective, that gap separates him from the second place and Max Grazerman, who currently occupies the 36th spot. The task of dethroning Scheffler is a monumental one, and it has become a clear target for McIlroy moving forward. Despite celebrating a significant achievement with the green jacket at Augusta, McIlroy struggled to find motivation in the period that followed. The culmination of completing the career Grand Slam had felt like a climactic moment for him. However, the chance to play in an Open hosted in his native Northern Ireland reignited his focus and drive. Reflecting on his experience at Portrush, McIlroy mentioned, "That's just because one person was just a little bit better than the rest of us." This comment underscores the remarkable talent that Scheffler displayed throughout the tournament, particularly evident in his stellar second-round score of 64, which effectively put him out of reach for the rest of the field. Currently, Scheffler continues to prove himself as a formidable force, showcasing an exceptional ability to perform under pressure during major tournaments. This victory marks his second major title this year, following a dominant win at the US PGA in May at Quail Hollow. The discussion surrounding Scheffler often includes comparisons to the legendary dominance of Tiger Woods, yet McIlroy stands out as the most likely contender to challenge Scheffler's reign. Between June 2011 and August 2014, McIlroy experienced a peak of his own, capturing the US Open, US PGA, and the Open, with two of those victories coming by a staggering 8-stroke margin. However, after that golden period, McIlroy faced an unexpected 11-year hiatus without a major win, a reality that few would have predicted at the time. Despite this dry spell, he has maintained his status among the elite in golf, consistently competing at a high level, which is evidenced by his 67 major appearances and 33 top 10 finishes. This remarkable consistency is unmatched by any active player. As an established all-time great, one of only 6 competitors to secure victory in all 4 major tournaments, McIlroy could easily rest on his accomplishments. Yet, the question arises, how much fuel does he have left in the tank to keep pursuing the top rank in the world? Despite having been in the game for a long time, he shows no signs of waning enthusiasm. McIlroy aims to contribute to another victory in the Ryder Cup this coming season and has set his sights on clinching an Olympic medal in 2028. He also faces the ongoing challenge of stepping out from behind Scheffler's overwhelming shadow. As McIlroy said, all you can do is admire what he does and how he does it. His respect for Scheffler's capabilities is clear. What makes him stand out is not just the results but also his understated manner of competing. It's been absolutely amazing over these past 2 to 3 years. All you can do is tip your cap and watch in admiration. Meanwhile, the Open once again saw no English player lift the trophy, a drought that extends back to Nick Faldo in 1992. Nevertheless, there were bright spots, as Matt Fitzpatrick showcased his talent, finishing in a tie for 4th place, edging out Bob McIntyre by a single shot. McIntyre's 7th place finish further highlighted his potential in major tournaments, especially following his impressive runner-up showing at the recent US Open in June. While Tyrrell Hatton struggled on the final day, he still ended up with Tommy Fleetwood, Justin Rose, and John Perry in the top 20, all familiar with the challenge they face in overcoming Scheffler to achieve future major victories. Right now, McIlroy is perhaps the leading contender to alter Scheffler's narrative in the world of golf. As he stated, all I can do is focus on myself and try to play the best golf that I can. I know that, when I do that, I'll have my weeks where I'll contend and hopefully win. So, the question remains, can McIlroy reclaim his dominance, or will Scheffler continue to reign supreme? Let's discuss your thoughts. Who do you believe is most equipped to take on this challenge?